Hey, what's up, Triple P Nation? This week's episode is brought to you by Triple P Life Nutrition, helping you optimize your health and performance.
Welcome
to the age of awakening.
Please identify yourself. Enter.
What's up, Triple P Nation? Welcome back to the podcast, where this week, like each week, we're going to explore the tools, tactics, and strategies to help you achieve personal and business mastery, because the mission of this podcast is to empower entrepreneurs and professionals just like you in the four key areas of life, which is mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, so you can start living, of course, your Triple P life. I'm your host, Dr. J. And again, welcome back. If you're a new listener, thank you. So excited as the YouTube channel is growing. Of course, we're on all major podcast platforms. The audience keeps expanding. Love the feedback, guys. Keep doing it. Excited to hear your thoughts, ideas. Comment on social media at Dr. J LaGuardia. Comment here on YouTube. Comment wherever. Email me, Dr. J at TriplePLife. Now, this week, we got a good show for you. The title of this week's show is about overcoming burnout. And what inspired me to do this particular show is you pretty much have to be living in a cave somewhere to not experience burnout. It's something we all, struggle with from time to time, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you work for someone, you're raising a family, you're trying to keep up with all the things going on in life. It's so difficult to keep it all organized. And sometimes you just want to tap out and go, I'm done, can't take it anymore, can't do it. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you what causes burnout, okay, and how to recognize it in yourself. But more importantly, I'm going to give you 3 ways to overcome burnout. And then at the end, some extra special tips also. So make sure you check out the entire show here today. Now, of course, it wouldn't be a normal episode if we didn't start with our weekly success snack. And this one is all about how to be better decision makers. By the way, it's the theme really of today's show, because it's all about what we value in life. Do you value business? These 2 questions are 2 of the most powerful questions you can ask yourself, because what you value drives your decisions. Think about that. The things that mean the most to you are the things that are easy to make decisions upon. So knowing the answers to these questions can help you make the right decisions in your life. I've always said there are no right decisions. There's only decisions that we make right. If you value honesty, it becomes easier to decide to break up with your partner who lies. Could be a business partner, not necessarily your significant other. If you value community, right, then you make decisions built upon a community to be a part of, right? To join, to serve. If you value integrity, let's say in your business, it's not going to be hard to decide which employees you want to keep on the bus and which ones you need to toss off. If you value balance, then you're never going to need to ask yourself the question, should I skip family dinner for a meeting? You see, these values drive each and every decision that you make, because if you make decisions that align with your highest values, those decisions are the easiest ones to make, and those decisions will never eat at you. You'll be able to clearly feel when something's off, when you're making decisions that don't align with your highest values. So if you don't have your values clearly defined yet, please sit down and define those. Or reach out to me, Dr. J at TriplePLife, and I'll send you my values evaluating tool for free. It's my gift to you. So if you don't know your values, make sure you make every decision based on your values, identify those values, align with those values, and guess what? You're going to make better decisions. Okay, guys, so let's get into the content of today's show, burnout. So is it likely that at some point in your life you have experienced burnout, or maybe you're experiencing it now? You see, when you encounter these moments, when you're feeling overwhelmed and burnout, and you're bombarded by what you perceive were so many challenges that you simply couldn't imagine handling it at all. And you've probably thought, look, I've had enough. That's it. I'm done. I'm tapping out. I need a break. Very normal. But this raises the questions. Why do we experience burnout? How have we set ourselves up for these situations. And what can we do about it? And how do we recover from this so-called thing, burnout? So first, let's take a look at the underlying root causes of burnout before I provide some input on tools that you can use to come back from being burnt out. Important note, guys. Every human being, you have a unique hierarchy of values. You know this because I've told you this many times, right? A set of priorities that range from the most to least important in your life. These hierarchy of values are unique to you, as specific as your fingerprints, and they dictate how you perceive, decide, and act upon, ultimately influencing the decisions and the direction you're going to take your life. Thus, the hierarchy of your values determines your destiny. Let me repeat that. The hierarchy of your values determines your destiny. So it's probably a good idea to know them, right? Now, your hierarchy of values can change gradually or sometimes even dramatically over time, allowing for adjustments as you progress through your life. I've had many reasons and seasons and times where my values have shifted. Not that they are no longer values, they're just not my highest values, which is an important distinction, right? If you're early in life and you're raising your family, and maybe family and faith are top right there, but now 25 years later, your kids are grown, they're out doing their thing, they're successful, family's still important, but it's not number 2 or number 1, maybe 4 or 5, right? So it can shift and the dynamic can change over time based on where you are in life. Now, when you perceive that outer events or circumstances support your top hierarchy of values, you tend to feel open and excited and elated, right? Really, as everything is aligning in your favor. This is a good thing. But when you perceive that what's higher on your list of values is being challenged, typically what we do is we tend to instinctively react with a level of resistance. You see, our brain, our autonomic nervous system plays a role here. Our parasympathetic system is activated and dominates when we perceive that our higher values are not being supported. So there's a neurological component which allows us to rest and digest. And our sympathetic system is activated and dominates when you perceive that your higher values are being challenged, preparing you for fight or flight. Again, the neurological component. Now, when we perceive too much support in our life, it can lead to boredom. While too many perceived challenges is ultimately what leads to burnout. Imagine entering a relationship where your partner tells you, it could be a business partner, again, significant other, that they will do whatever you need them to do, right? Most likely after a while, you're going to feel bored and burned out because you're not going to feel like you're getting any kind of challenge. And conversely, if you perceive that your partner's domineering and challenging you all the time, you're going to find yourself seeking support in other ways. So in other words, if you perceive excessive support, this is going to cause boredom. Whereas if you perceive excessive challenges, this can lead to desire for some new independent experiences, or basically it urges us to just get away. So the key is stability. It's discovering the actual ever-present balance between support and challenge. Maximum growth, guys. Maximum growth and development occur at the intersection of support and challenge, boredom and burnout. When you engage in activities that you perceive that align with your highest values and approach them with a balanced, neutral, and objective viewpoint, the likelihood of experiencing boredom and burnout decreases dramatically. So on the contrary, when you're involved in tasks that hold little perceived value to you and they are unfulfilling, they tend to lead to you to seek more immediate gratification as a form of compensation. And if this persists over time, then you can find yourself more susceptible to burnout. Again, look at your hierarchy of values list, right? My hierarchy value is teaching, leading, and inspiring, and I'm scrolling the internet, right? Searching for the newest golf clubs. I am in total contradiction with my highest values. And so therefore, I'm not living my highest purpose, which is what gives me fuel and energy and supports me, right? It gives me purpose. It does just the opposite. And after a while, that lack of energy, because I'm not focused on those highest values, is going to do just, it's going to tear me down. It's going to make me feel uninspired, low energy. So this is because the pursuit of pleasure without acknowledging the inevitable accompanying pain sets us up for greater flow. You see, nature maintains a balance between pleasure and pain, support and challenge. So when pain inevitably arises, is magnified by our heightened dependency on pleasure. However, guys, when you embrace both sides, pleasure and pain, equally, the impact of pain diminishes. So it's for this reason that pursuing challenges that inspire you and that are meaningful and that lead to productivity while trying to avoid challenges that aren't inspiring often results in you procrastinating, hesitating, and then feeling a sense of frustration, and then sometimes experiencing the distress and inevitable burnout. So therefore, a fundamental step in overcoming burnout involves prioritizing your life. It's really simple. Burnout often stems from the burden of engaging in activities that don't align with your interest or your highest values, or not dedicating enough time to what those highest priorities are and not delegating lower priority tasks. This is one of the key aspects of the most successful, productive people you'll ever meet. You see, without a focused dedication to a high priority activities and the delegation of less critical ones, you're likely to become overwhelmed by external pressures and expectations from those people around you, or even yourself. You'll recognize these moments when you find yourself repeating phrases like, you know what, I got to do this, or I must do that, or I ought to do this, or I'm supposed to do this, or I need to do that, right? These phrases that express imperative language, they signal that you've likely injected the values of others and you're attempting to please too many other people without prioritizing or focusing on what truly is most important and meaningful to you. This non-prioritization and non-integration of tasks into a single focus can make you more susceptible to burnout. Why? Because you become overwhelmed by the sheer volume of too many expected tasks all at once, or because the tasks at hand just don't inspire you and they're low on your value list. So here's an action step. A simple wise strategy is to gracefully decline offers from those who project their values onto you. And when you don't see them aligned with what you value the most, be polite and say thanks, but no thanks, right? One of the things I've told you guys in the past, what's really helped me grow is the power of saying no. Just happened to me earlier this morning. Someone reached out, needed something. I just didn't have the time. Said, I can't do it today. If you need it today, can't help you. Maybe able to do it next week, but not today. And he said, well, I'll figure it out. Great. Awesome. By the way, this wasn't a client. This was someone who was reaching out for something else. And because I needed to prepare for the show, I was writing content. That was my highest priority because I love to lead, teach, and inspire what I'm doing here today. Hopefully I'm doing it. So that was a low priority task. So I said no, or at least not now. Now, in my GPS to Success Summit that I do each fall, which you guys should definitely consider joining us this fall, one of the tools we work hard on is what's called the What Not to Do tool. This is where I help each of the attendees identify what tasks they're spending time on the most. And after we help identify their highest core values, we then help them determine, are the activities aligned with their highest values? And if not, they know what they need to eliminate, delegate, automate, or simply drop. And this is so empowering because from there, when you identify what drives you and moves you and what you are able to then take off your plate, this provides such an enormous clarity that drives productivity through the roof. This is where breakthrough occurs. This is where people scale their lives and scale their business. So this realignment allows you to prioritize your life rather than attempting to align your life with someone else's priorities and to basically get you refocused again. So how to reduce the probability of burnout? Well, the key to reducing the probability of experiencing burnout and recovering from it is you got to take a step back and assess everything that is currently demanding your time and attention. So the first thing I want you to do is take the time to list everything that's on your plate. I mean, everything, right? The kids, the groceries, whatever, right? There's certain things, that's your responsibility. Mom, Dad, you got to do. I get it, right? But I want everything on that plate. I want you to list it all. Number two is then I want you to identify which of these tasks are high priority that align with your highest values. So family's highest values, right? Doing the grocery shopping, taking care of the kids. That's an alignment. That's good. That nourishes you, feeds you. May make you tired, but it nourishes you and feeds you. And then, of course, which of these tasks are low priority distractions? So once you have a clearer list, number three, right? Once you have a clearer list of distractions or low priority tasks, now time is to determine which tasks you can delegate. So this is a challenging thing for some people at sometimes. Delegation that I've learned frees you from the burden of the burden and helping you to prevent burnout. And the thing is, it doesn't cost in the long run. It actually pays. So when I say to my clients, oftentimes they're like, man, I can't afford that. There's no way I can do that. And I say, there's no way that you can afford not to do it. Here's why. When you have your list and you go, you know what? I can automate that, right? Let's look within our business or within our life, something I can automate. Then the next step is, okay, what do I do that I can delegate? Well, I tell you what, at home, I can delegate having someone cut the grass. I can hire, a neighborhood kid to do it. Maybe it's in my office. Instead of maybe, doing the books, I can hire someone to do the bookkeeping for me. You see, and this is where entrepreneurs get themselves in trouble because they have this mindset that no one can do it as good as me. Bullshit. Honestly, really. But even if someone couldn't do it as good as you couldn't find someone, let's say it's bookkeeping. I don't know what the task is. You're marketing. I don't know. Whatever it is that you're doing, you shouldn't be doing. That's not on your highest list. The reality is, even if someone does it 90 or 80% as effective as you think you do it, that frees you up enormous amount of time and energy to focus on your highest priority task, which drives your life and business and creates value. Therefore, the more value you create, the more compensation you get. So therefore, the delegation aspect, the automation aspect pays for itself at least twofold. So these are some of the things that I really want you to start considering because so much of it is self-inflicted. It doesn't have to be. We choose to encumber ourselves with these activities, these behaviors, these low priority behaviors, taking on responsibilities of other people's priorities, right, at the effect of our own. And then we wonder why we're not achieving the results we want, or why we're not happy, or why we don't feel empowered, or why we're not achieving the goals that we've set out to do. So I want you to change your mindset, delegation, automation, right? And then the drop part. There's just certain things you do in your life you don't need to do. And the thing is, when you create your list, that first step I mentioned to you, you're going to see some. If you stop doing that particular task, would your life change? Would your business change? And if the answer is not really, drop it just for a week and see what happens. I guarantee you won't miss it. Okay, so to reiterate, I believe the key is to step back, right? Start listing all your daily actions and responsibilities you do. Assess the urgency and identify which of the tasks that you can delegate. Focus on what truly inspires you. Delegate the stuff that doesn't. This approach is going to ensure that you remain inspired, energetic, aligned with your highest values so you can do more of the things that you love. And that is your TriplePLife, by the way. You see, energy feels limitless when you understand that its true source is living congruently with your highest priorities and core values. I got to repeat that statement, man, because it is, if you take nothing out of the show, that's it. Energy feels limitless when you understand that its true source is living congruently with your highest priorities and values. You should literally write that down and put it somewhere, because when you forget it, guess what? Energy goes low, low priorities, low values, low results. So when you are immersed in what is genuinely authentic and inspiring to you, when you pursue what is meaningful, fulfilling, and what you feel is your life's purpose, when you contribute significantly and excel in that area of expertise, and you not only reduce the probability of burnout, but you're also becoming invigorated with a sense of inspiration. Who doesn't love that? So I would encourage you to choose a life of inspiration over a quiet life of desperation by aligning with your actions with your highest values. This alignment, guys, is going to foster the fluency and congruency and efficiency and effectiveness, ensuring that you remain invigorated by your pursuits without the burnout or the boredom. So here's to sum it up. Number one, recognize burnout and what causes it for you, right? Number two is identify your core values, right? Prioritize them. Three is understand the role of your autonomic nervous system, right? Feel when you're out of alignment with your values. You're going to feel it. You're going to feel the shift internally. Four is balance is the key, right? To true growth and development. the balance between support and challenge. Number 5 is prioritize. Prioritize your life, your values. Number 6 is address financial concerns about delegating. And it's not really, it's in your mind. You got to overcome the mindset side of it. By the way, we just hired a virtual assistant. Amazing. Oh my God. The results, the cost is unbelievable as far as what a bargain it is. Highly recommend you look into that. And if it's something you're interested in learning more about, okay, reach out to me. I can give you some strategies of how we found one. Number 7 is create a delegation strategy, right? Identify those tasks that can be delegated, assess the urgency, delegate those who find those tasks that are not aligned with your highest values. 8 is embrace authenticity and transcend your subordination. What does that mean? Well, recognize the traits you admire in others that also lie within yourself. So thereby breaking free of the pitfalls of idolizing others and attempting to live by their injected set of values instead of your own. 9, keep a record of your priorities. You can do it on your phone, right? Put them right on your phone. And 10, live by your highest values. Biggest one right there. Align your daily actions with your highest values to live a life of inspiration. So that's it, guys. That's how you overcome boredom, how you identify boredom, and then how you, take your life to the next level. This topic may seem somewhat simplistic, but so many people struggle with it. I don't really feel they have the tools to effectively deal with it, or at least have a process. And I'm a process guy. I love processes. How do you work through this? How do you make that happen? So if you know someone outside of yourself who are dealing with boredom or burnout, frustration, share this episode with them. You have no idea what that impact can have, what they may learn from this particular show, which can propel their lives to the next level. And all you did was to nurture that information, right? And you can be a part of their growth and their success in the future and feel good about it. And not that you're looking for anything in return other than serving humanity. So share the show. We appreciate when you do that. And by the way, if you haven't done so recently or haven't done so yet, highly would encourage you and humbly request if you would go do a rate and review of our show, hit the like, hit the follow, hit the share, all those things. It means a lot to us. So it's been a great show today. Glad you've been with us. Again, next week starts our 3-part series. Oh, I think I mentioned it in the opening. Maybe I didn't. I get ahead of myself a lot. But we're going to be talking about what are some of the biggest challenges facing entrepreneurs in today's business world. There's 10, but we're going to really tap on 3 of them the first week. And I'm telling you guys, the way that where we are right now as a country, the political strife, the financial issues that we're dealing with. If you haven't heard, one of the Fed chairmen had mentioned that he doesn't anticipate any rate cuts this year. Your ability to access capital is limited. And if you are able to access capital, it's incredibly expensive. How do you overcome that? If you need to raise capital, how can you raise capital? What are the other options that you can do? I've got some suggestions for you, time tested and very effective methods to do so. We're going to talk about how do you deal with your market competition, particularly if you're a small business entrepreneur and you're dealing with these big behemoths, right? How do you stand out and make yourself a niche market that makes you a place of destination? We're going to talk about resources and how resources are being or limited within small businesses, and then how we can kind of help you identify resource innovation and scalability so you can effectively meet your target customers' demands. We're going to be talking about technology and adaptation, integration. Maybe I talked about automation before. How can you do what you do already better and more efficient? Of course, we're going to talk marketing and branding, lifeblood of a business. If you're not getting new clients, good luck. And then we're going to talk about cash flow management. So these and a few other topics, next 3 weeks, it's going to be how not only do you navigate the current economic environment in your business, but set yourself up for success and to know that you have strategies in place to be able to pivot and to be adaptable to the ever-changing environment that's occurring in the business world. So look forward to seeing you guys on the show next week. As I always say, guys, I'm very grateful and appreciative and humble that you guys take some time each and every week to come and join me. It's truly a pleasure. You allow me to serve my mission, which is to inspire and lead and teach people, millions and millions of people to live happier, healthy, more prosperous lives. It's on my wall. I get to look at it each and every day. It's simple, but it really gets to the point. All my businesses have to meet that purpose. So you guys allow me to do this, and I humbly thank you for that. Love and appreciate each and every one of you. So, as I always say, until next week, you be you. Just be the best you. And I promise you will always empower your dreams, ignite your passion, and accelerate your prosperity. Until next week, guys, be well.